Hey, welcome back everybody, it's Silence the Mischievous Ninja here again, and if you did not see the last video to the end, what I said what I would be doing is skipping ahead to the point in time when a new option is available, or a new choice is available, and that is where we are now. If you did watch the beginning of the prologue episodes, then you know that last time all I had was one choice to make at this point, and that choice was to turn back time. This time, my choice was not to turn back time, but this time I had the choice to turn back time. And so, excuse me, so that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to turn back time, and I'm assuming we're going to have a timeline with Mew this time. We'll see right now. I would not turn back time. I had resigned myself to this outcome, but now my resignation was gone. I tightened my grip on the pocket watch in my hand. And yet, no matter how hard I held onto that pocket watch, I couldn't bring myself to smash it against the ground. Something was stopping me. All I had done up to this moment was stopping me. I had used the power of the pocket watch for nothing but trivial things. But no matter how many of my own desires I had indulged, the feeling gnawed at me that I couldn't do something to destroy another person's future. I just couldn't. It really was something utterly beyond the pale. Miyu's perseverance and Shuji's iron will had been seared into my hearts. Those respective qualities they had were pinning my arms down, and I felt grateful for those qualities. I don't need a special power to make decisions for myself. I don't need a special power to fix my mistakes. At this very moment, this very instant, I am standing here. And so, throwing away my will to change the past, I summon the will to change the future. Mew! Mew spun around on a dime as if she had been waiting for me to call out. The complicated expression she wore on her face laid all her emotions bare. I had released my grip on the pocket watch in my fist and reached out to grab something much more important, her arm. Mew! I love you! Please go out with me! Mew let out a bewildered gasp. Come on, Mew. Surely you could have given me a better reaction than that. My attention was so dead set on Mew that I didn't notice the pocket watch hit the ground with a metallic sound, having fallen from my hand. It wasn't far enough to fall to smash it, so time did not turn back, and yet... Ooh. Having been distracted for a brief moment, my brain suddenly processed that I was still holding onto Mew's arm. I felt sweat dripping down the back of my neck. My body was burning up, but it was that heat which pushed me forward. Tears welled up in her eyes. I gently smiled as a sliver of hope began to replace the shock on her face. In my memories of everything, everything was connected. Back when everyone else's timelines had converged, of course only my memories with Mew would have been missing. This is the beginning, therefore this is the end. After finally becoming a man worthy of standing beside Mew, I had returned to this point in time. Mew, I finally caught up to you. I made a promise. Mew repeated my words back at me in confusion. She still didn't quite understand what was happening. But before I could explain everything to her, I had to tell Shuji something. Shuji! Forgive me. I just can't stand here and watch while the girl I like confesses to another guy. I blurted out the thought which had crossed my mind, devoid of alteration. Shuji's eyes widened. But then my best friend just gave me a smile. It's to me! Alright. Shuji turned to leave, but then he stopped for a moment. Miu was torn as to whether she should pay attention to the guy who had her by the arm, or the other guy who was talking to her. Normally, I might have let go of her arm so she could talk to him, but right now, I didn't want to let go. Shuji gave a wry smile.
そのままでいいから聞いてくれ。
はい。
俺が言うことじゃないかもしれないんだけど、そいつはまあバカだがいいやつだ。ちょっと電波入ってて行き当たりばったりで欲望に素直すぎてバカだけど、変なところで責任感はある。
Did he just call me a dummy twice in a row? Of course, I knew that thought was best, Upton said.
だからそいつの彼女になる子は幸せだと思う。余計なお世話なのは分かってるんだが、一応な。
はい。ありがとうございます。
じゃあな。
Shuji casually waved us goodbye. Miu wasn't watching him leave, so he must have been waving to me. It was as if he were saying, "Take care of her, dude." So I nodded back as if to say, "I will." So Shuji left for real this time, the large, heavy door swinging shut behind him, but I only knew it had closed from the sound. Miu and I were staring intensely at each other. Miu started laughing as if she had been holding it back this whole time. What's with you?
さっきの石田先輩のレイ先輩への評価ってどこかで聞いたことがある話でしたね。
Oh, jeez. The first time I saved Miu, I did indeed end up saying something very similar to what Shuji had just said about me. You know, when he was talking about me back there, I felt like he wasn't complimenting me at all.
ちゃんと褒められてましたよ。
So then, what's your answer?
答え？
Miu giggled and cocked her head to the side. She's not going to make me believe for a second that she'd forgotten about the confession I just made to her. She must be teasing me. I certainly made her wait a long time for this. Miu, I love you. Please go out with me.
メイ先輩、顔真っ赤。
I will not be saying that a third time.
もっと言ってくださいよ。
I refuse.
いいじゃないですか。減るものじゃないですよ。
It'll hurt me right here in my chest.
言ってくださいよ、レイ先輩。
I absolutely refuse.
いいじゃないですか。ね？ね？ね？
Miu, I never knew you could get this excited over something.
だってこんなに嬉しいこと生まれて初めてで。
That's when I pulled Miu into my arms. Her body was so light it was easy to pull her into my arms and kiss her. Her lips, her cheeks, her whole body, Miu felt so warm and soft. And her girlish scent was overwhelming. Miu was so surprised that she struggled against me for the moment, but I held on to her. Then as Miu finally seemed to process what was happening, she moved closer and wrapped her arms around me, returning my own embrace. I felt her lips moving like she was trying to tell me something, but I wasn't ready to let her speak right now. The kiss was one of such overwhelming joy that seeped so deeply into my heart, that I never wanted to let her go. Miu finally seemed to wordlessly accept my kiss. To be perfectly honest, I wanted to try using my tongue, but for the first kiss with her, that felt kinda... what harm could I do? But would it be alright? Why was I thinking about this? It was far from the right time or atmosphere to be thinking about such things. But I also knew this long wistful saga of mine was finally...
そのまま繁殖行為でもするか？
At that unexpected voice, I completely lost my composure. I quickly pushed Miu away so that I wouldn't cough in her face. Sorry. Mia was blushing and evidently still trying to regain her composure because I wasn't supporting her weight anymore. How could someone be so adorable? Glaring at Crow, I held up my hand to her as if to say not now. I totally forgot. If Crow had been watching my confessional this time, that she's going to laugh at me for sure. Though in this timeline, I suppose Crow isn't human, is she? Even if I understood how the me of right now is different from the me of all that time before, it's still a strange feeling. When Miu finally got her grip on reality back, she was staring up at me in a daze. I told you. I'm not gonna say it a third time. Of course I will! Then we kissed again. July. Summertime. On that day, standing on the rooftop, the one place in all the school reaching closest to the sky, I found somebody to love. Oh, and credits. Surely that's not the end, though. I know it's not the end because anytime it's the end, it shows a faded red picture with the word finish at the top of the corner. So there's definitely more after these credits. So we're gonna go ahead and skip the credits and see what happens next. And then, even after our happy ending, Selma moved on. Well, nothing that important happened. Life was good. Actually, correction. Life was too good to be true. One could say we were madly in love. Have I told you about the other timelines I've been through? She sounded quite impressed. We were spending our free time on the roof as always. You made lunch for me earlier today in accordance with my request to be able to eat the first homemade lunch she made for me as her lover. It's kind of weird. It's like there's multiple different versions of me, yet they're all still the same person as me. I rubbed my belly and lazily nodded. The lingering deliciousness of the lunch Mia made for me earlier was still on my mind. The quantity, taste, and care put into it were all perfect. It filled me with satisfaction. But I still have all the memories from those other times, so I didn't want to hide it from you. Yeah, that's a good way to say it. I had a feeling she would handle this revelation smoothly. She had expressed her interest on the matter in the other timeline as well, after all.
時の脳の活動って一体どうなってるんでしょうね。記憶や思いには形がないようにイメージされがちですけど、物理的なへこみでなかったとしてもどこかに保存はされていないとおかしいですもんね。重なった状態なら意識そのものも量子化してるんでしょうか。あ、電気信号みたいに無線でもつながっていればその場に実体が伴ってなくてもいいのかな。レイ先輩が起点になっていたということは、レイ先輩そのものが観測者としてみんなの意識を決定していたのかもしれませんしもしかしたら私たちの考える神様よりももっと工事の何かが観察していてくれたのかもしれませんね。
I smiled at Mew while quietly listening to her talk. There was nothing I could say after all. I hadn't the foggiest idea what she was talking about. Chronos had intended for Crow to act as an intermediary when she communicated with humans, but perhaps Mew would have been able to communicate directly with Chronos somehow. Well, either way, it was nice to see Mew this happy while she indulged in her curiosity. I want to be together with her forever, so I'm glad I didn't keep this from her.
とはいえ、よほど気軽に打ち明けたものだ。
Crow floated down to where I could see her. It isn't any of concern to you if other people know about your existence, right?
ない。そもそも今まで我が輩のことを隠していたのはお主の都合であろう。
I guess so, but you're pretty cute in the other timeline yourself, Crow.
人間として生きる我が輩の話は興味深いが、それこそ今の我が輩には関係のないことだ。
Doesn't it seem mysterious to you? I expected her to try to assert her authority when I brought up that topic, since that timeline was the only one where I was in a position to power over her. However, Crow just shrugged her shoulders without a care in the world.
我が輩の認識からすれば、自己を一つのものとしてしか認識できないお主らの思考が不自由だがな。
I wish I could have just shoved that parfait down your throat right now. You looked around trying to figure out who I was talking at and talking to. Yep.
こんにちは、クロさん。こちらの声が聞こえぬのなら、挨拶に意味はなかろう。
Crow says hi too. I translated Crow's words in a more tactful way to Mew.
まあよい。我が輩もご主人の話に興味があったが、大体のことが分かって満足した。
Been quiet down for a while.
我が輩にイチャイチャしているところを見られていると、ご主人は恥ずかしいらしいしな。
It was embarrassing, hence why I chose not to respond. Crow grinned as she floated up to a slightly higher altitude.
どんな話をしてるかはレイ先輩の言葉でなんとなくわかりますけど見えない人を探すのはちょっとみちるちゃんの気分ですね。
Yeah. Machiro has that problem sometimes too. Since she tries to determine their position from the direction of their voice, sometimes she'll end up looking the wrong way while talking to them. I kept up the conversation as casual as could be. In all honesty, now that I had finally found a girlfriend, Crow's existence could certainly be a pain in the butt sometime. If I wanted to do something or other with her, I could never be completely sure of when Crow might pop up when we were in the mood. Well, putting all that aside, your lunch was really delicious. I rubbed my belly appreciatively.
ちょっと量が多かったでしょうか。
I guess so. I didn't want to waste any of the food you made for me. But next time it'd be nice if you went easier on my stomach.
今日は自分でも作りすぎちゃったのは分かってたんです。その初めてのお弁当でレイ先輩に喜んでほしくてついあれもこれもって。
Well, it still made me happy, so it's not a problem.
ありがとうございます。
In any case, I'll just have to deal with it until lunch break is over. Despite acting like I was perfectly fine, my stomach had actually started to hurt more as time passed. I sat down on the ground. Never would have thought the prospect of putting on weight would be such a happy thought to me. Seeing me like that, Mew let out a strangely absent-minded voice. What's wrong? No, wait. You really don't have to worry about me. Mew circled around behind me as she spoke. As I wondered what she was doing, she grabbed my shoulders from behind and pulled me back. What? I let Mew do whatever she was doing, and soon enough I felt my head being propped up on something. Then I saw Mew's face in the blue sky above me. Below me I felt something wonderfully soft on the back of my head, and my nostrils were filled with a lovely floral scent. That pillow! Mew was surprised by my sudden exclamation. I couldn't dream of not liking it. Thank you very much. I was just surprised, alright? Man, even about this sort of thing, you're still sharp as a tack. I was constantly surprised at how Mew had started proactively holding my hand and showing her affection. I didn't expect her to adapt to her new role as my girlfriend so quickly. Normally I'm the type to surprise other people, not vice versa. I started to dote on Mew more than anyone else, except maybe Michiru. No problems here. I'm as happy as can be. To tell the truth, Mew's thighs were a little harder than I expected, but that was probably just because she was young and had more growing to do. That didn't matter to me, though. Anyone who'd complain about such a trivial thing in this situation ought to get trampled to death by a unicorn. Now then, actually, I'm a lot bigger and heavier than you are. Doesn't my head feel a bit heavy for you? So it really was heavy. I thought about getting off her at that point, but I figured that refusing her generosity would be kind of rude. And besides, I didn't really want to get up. Yeah, scratch that. Next time. I'll let you do it. I couldn't help but dote on her. Mew smiled happily. It was such a pleasant feeling, I ended up reflexively yawning at a weird time. What is it? I love you. At that point, Mew lifted up my head and bent over to bring our faces closer together. She kissed me on the forehead. It was just a light touch, so it didn't even make a sound. Feeling a strange sort of pleasure from the lewd, moist feeling on my face at that moment, I reflexively let out a yelp. Without a doubt, I had just been licked. My heart skipped a beat, but then I looked at Mew. I saw Mew's genuinely happy smile that was quite possibly for what was quite possibly the first time. Mew continued to shower gentle kisses on my face. My forehead, my eyelids, my cheek, and the tip of my nose. What little remnants of surprise I still felt were soon overwhelmed by my simultaneous feelings of joy. A rain of kisses. Naturally, there was no need for an umbrella. Her affection was straightforward and unabashed, as if she had no reason to hide her feelings anymore. I'm getting too excited. No, It'd be weirder if I didn't get excited right now. But I wanted the mood for our first time to be a little better than this. For Miu's sake, of course. Why not? Might as well just go with a wholesome mood for now. Miu, hold still.
What?
Miu looked at me blankly, but she did as I said. I lifted my head off her thighs and stood up. And then? My excitement at a fever pitch, I held Miu in my arms and lifted her up towards the bright blue summer sky. I felt like I could carry her all the way back to the first year classrooms this way. Miu screamed with fright as I spun her around like a merry-go-round. But the fright in her voice was soon replaced with laughter. I'm gonna make you happy, Miu. And I'm gonna make you even happier. Alright, already. I'll just have to make everyone happy in one fell swoop then. Under summer's blue sky, I made a new promise. From that moment on, tick-tock, tick-tock. This is the conclusion, but not the end. The hands of time will continue to turn. Even when the magic spell on Cinderella broke, that was not the end of her story. Every second, every minute, every hour, day, month, and year, a whole new world, which no one can foresee, unfolds before our eyes. The future is a world of endless possibilities, and so we'll face it with a smile. For our summer has only just begun. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Happily ever after indeed. Well, shoot, that was short. I guess the prologue is essentially the storyline for Miu, then. And if you haven't seen the prologue, I'd recommend watching it to get caught up and understand just what Rei and Miu went through to get to this point, and why Miu was so readily accepting of Rei's feelings. Now that that's done, I guess it looks like that's all there is left. Let's look at the memories. Whoop. That was... there's still pictures missing though. See this? What is this? I have all the others pictures, but what are these empty... How do I see these other pictures? Let's look at Miu's pictures. This is when we were talking about her social anxieties. This is when we went on the outing with the 3 girls, I think. And then this is her confession. The end of the confession of the Shuji, and then the part we just did, when we grab her arm. And the first kiss. And the lap. Hello? And then the end. Looks like Kronos is in the background, doesn't it? Looks like Kronos, but it doesn't look like Kronos. Let's see, what is other? Time travel limited, opening movie, auto demo, title design. Oh, I can choose between title designs? Yep.
Chrono clock!
This is their biographies. Music gallery. Well, I'm gonna check out some things and see if there's a way to get these, or check and see if there is additional pictures and how to unlock them, and see if there's any additional storyline that it would be worth showing you guys in this series. And until then, thanks for watching. It was only 30 minutes long, so that should please a lot of people that aren't a fan of the hour-long videos I usually post. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. It may be a new game that I next see you with, depending on whether or not I can find out anything new with this game.